We've seen some very well-presented people come in that you wouldn't think that they were homeless. You wouldn't think it because you're thinking, well, how can you be homeless when you look so clean and tidy and your clothes are fresh? And it can happen to absolutely anyone.
He had no shoes. I said, what size are you? He got size 11. My favourite Nike trainers, which I spent a lot of money on, my gym shoes. I just never thought. I just got them. I gave them to him.
It's opened my heart. My heart, as a Muslim, my heart has always been open for charity, but it makes me emotional. If you haven't got a lot and you're still able to give, it's coming from your heart. Sometimes it's not about money. No. It's about time, respect, and love.
Hello, I'm David Thompson from Rehability UK, and today on Rehability UK, the Social Care Chronicles, I'm joined today by Khalid and Rufkia, and we're here to talk about their journeys into care, how they've been pioneering new ways to help people they support by volunteering in the community. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Khalid, tell us a bit more about your job now and how did you get involved in care?
Thanks to my wife. Basically, she's my inspiration for everything that I do. She's worked with special needs children for the last 25 years. And so she sort of inspired me, from a typical Asian, into getting involved more in the community. She's also a scout leader. And so we actually started fostering for Solihull Council. We used to foster special needs children. And then somebody got to find out that this is what I was doing. And so they asked me to look after an young adult with special needs. He was actually one of our service users at Rehability now. So that's how I got involved. He was my first client, as I say, and I looked after him, and I really got on with him. And but when he moved into care, into assisted living, but I kept in touch with him. I used to go and visit him every 2 weeks and just say hello, hi, and just keep in touch. And so basically, it's been last 12 years, and but then his parents kept asking me if I could do a day or so with him, just keep an eye, look after him and everything. And I kept saying, oh no, because I was busy with my own life, with my work, with my business and that. But then I retired a couple of years ago. And so they persuaded me to apply to Rehability UK for a job to look after their son. And so that's how I got involved with Rehability UK. And I love it. It's so good to be able to do something to make a real change, to genuinely change people's lives, give them a quality of life, give them different experiences. And I've been involved with the homeless project for the last 10 years with a institution called As-Suffa Institute. And they're amazing. It's a teaching institute, but they like to not just teach, but they'll practice what they're teaching. And my wife is actually a student there, and she told me about their homeless project. So that's how I got involved with them. And I went on a Wednesday evening, first time, just to see what it was like 10 years ago. And I've never stopped going since. And then I've tried to involve as many people, especially youth, youngsters, in this project, because it's a very humbling experience. And it does change lives, genuinely change lives of the people we're helping and also the people who are helping.
And what about you? What was your journey into coming to work for Rehability UK?
I started off doing domiciliary care after I had my children, and it was just a job to go back to work, basically. That's when everything changed and care came into my life and opened my eyes to how others live, and people with no families to come and look after them and come in and see them. Even though some people had families, they wouldn't come and see them, and we'd be the only faces that they would see up to 4 times a day. So putting a smile on someone's face and making them feel at ease and just talking to them, that's all they want someone to talk to. So after domiciliary care, then I went into supported living. That was another eye-opener because it was different to domiciliary care. That was meant for me, for supported living. It's changing people's lives. It's doing things for them that you would want someone to do for you. It's supporting them just in everyday life. And then we got a call from Katie to ask if we wanted to go and volunteer at the Homeless Project, and I was really up for it. So I got all my ladies involved that live at the service, and they were on a high that they could go and help someone. And even though they're in supported living, they're going to support someone else, and the buzz that it gave them, it's amazing to see someone happy to be helping someone else. We try and do as much as we can for the project. So even though we don't go every week, we start collecting things, food items, clothing, shoes, and then we all go along to the Homeless Project and do what we can. It's a real eye-opener, it really is.
You've said you've been working there or volunteering for 10 years, Khalid. So how has things changed in those 10 years? What have you seen over those 10 years?
I've seen the demographics change. Before we used to get mainly male service users or guests. We call them our guests, and but that's changed over the years to having females and a lot of younger people coming through, and young families as well. So it has changed a lot, and obviously with the cost of living crisis now, we're seeing a lot more, and we're seeing a lot more different people, from all backgrounds. It's very surprising, people have this idea for a homeless person being drunk and on drugs and all that. It's not like that. It can be anyone. It can happen to me. It can happen to you. It can happen to anybody.
How did it work out when you started bringing people along from the services where you work?
Just before I left today, they said, is it our Wednesday this week? Because they really look forward to going. Yeah.
Whoever I've taken, straight away they just want to go again and again and again. They don't want to stop.
We had there was an issue when we first got there because we had 2 wheelchair users going in, and we couldn't get the shutters open for them to go in. But all the burly men that were in the centre, they came and lifted the wheelchairs and actually got them inside. We did not want to be turned away. So then the guys at the Homeless Project set them up with their own table. Right. So they've got this table in front of them, and it's like they were shopkeepers because they had all the clothing on the table. And the people that come in actually communicate with them. They don't ignore them. So they were asking them for sizes and male or female clothing, and they were just so happy to be doing something. It was amazing the first time.
What about you? When you started bringing people from the services, how did that impact them and you?
I was trying to get them to go for a while, and obviously they have their concerns regarding safeguarding and, would he be safe and this, So I said to the team leaders, why don't you come first and come and see exactly what we're doing? That's what they did, and they came, and obviously they were just overwhelmed and humbled by the experience, and they said, yes, we were going to do it, and we said, let's go for it, and we went for it, and everyone loves it. All services, look forward to going. All week I'm asked, is it our turn this week? I've got these clothes, I've got these shoes, can I give these? Can I get this? Can I, like last week, one of the service users says, can I get some whipped cream to put on their coffee? And he came, so he did all that. He put fruit on it's just amazing, very overwhelming, very humbling for me to see. And I feel really good because, it's good because we've helped cheer people up, but it makes you grateful, and the service users love it. It's something out of routine, but it's a purpose for them, something for them to look forward to, something to do, rather than just sit in the house, and just watching TV. And just one of our service users, I took him a few years ago, and he told me off to say, why haven't you brought me here before? Why didn't you tell me about this before? He's hooked, and he's been going regular now, non-stop, for a few years now.
So we interviewed Amir the other night at the service, and it was amazing how he had this lovely steely look in his eye of purpose. Did you experience the same?
Yes, he does. Like tomorrow I'll be on shift tomorrow. First thing he's going to say, "Are you going? Is your brother going?" That's the first questions he asks, and then he says, "Right, I'm going at this time."
He's so determined, isn't he?
He gets there early. He helps set up, and he's basically become a team leader there. And he can supervise, and he enjoys it. He loves it.
It certainly seemed like he'd really taken to that like a duck to water almost.
Yes,
didn't it?
yes.
Yeah, for
He's
me,
like
that was-
natural.
He's passionate about it,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah.
He tells his family. He's brought his brother. Last year, his brother came from Bangladesh to visit him, and he brought him as well to the project. And his brother was so amazed and impressed as well.
So Amir was put forward for an award lately. Well, how did that make you feel?
Oh, it was really good to see him because he actually deserved it because his determination, his passion, for the project and what he wants to. Always wants to help people. He's always thinking of the good for someone. If someone's in need and something, he'll come to me. He'll say, "Khalid, bye. Can we help so and so? Can we help them? That he needs this? Can we get that? Can we find this out for them?" He's always wanting to help. And going to the project, he's there. He's helping 100, 150 people. Every week. Giving them food, and and yes, I'm sure
When he's there, we all go to Amir. Right, Amir, where do you want us? What do you want us to do? Yep, you can go here, you can go there. It's like he's in charge there. And it's so good because he's so comfortable being there. He knows his role, and he knows where for everyone else to have their role.
All new volunteers we have, Amir's the one who trains them, basically.
Really?
Yes.
He is
So-
brilliant.
Yes.
From follower, he's now turned into a real leader through that role.
Yeah.
So have you seen that transformation happen
Yeah,
while he's been working?
while he's been there, yeah. Because at first he should just stand there or just give out the food, told what he was told to do. Then gradually he got more and more confident, and as he became more and more senior, seeing new faces, then he's the one who's telling everybody else. Because we have a turnover of volunteers, we have different volunteers most weeks, and that's.
So when he won that award and he was called up onto the stage and you were called up to go with him, how did that make you feel?
I was shocked at first, to be
It
honest.
made us all cry.
I was not expecting it at all because I was just there just to take, to bring him there. He just said, can he come with me? And make sure you put a suit on. And he saw a picture of me in a suit that I've been to a wedding during the summer. He goes, "I want you to put that particular suit on." I hate suits, to be honest. But for him, I did it. I only wore it for him. And then, I was just sitting there and he got the award, which he deserved. I thought, brilliant. And the next thing, it was just a shock. He was like, "Is this really happening?" Next thing, he's actually says, "I want to give," he wants to give the award dedicated to me. And then he calls me up as well.
Then we were all crying.
It was
so
like
sweet.
Very surreal moment. It was like I was like in a dream, going through a dream. But it's very humbling to be appreciated, by someone you care for, someone.
It was heartfelt with his words because he was passionate about what he was saying, and he said it from his heart. He really did.
That's the man who does a lot for charity. I never met anybody else like him. I'd like to do that.
It was so amazing for us to see.
The more I avoid people trying to praise me and tell me, even here, being here, it's not me. I'm just like a doer. I just like do. Yeah. For me, the only one who's going to reward me in glory is up there.
Let's talk a bit about As-Suffa and how that works and what kind of projects it runs to help people.
So far involved in quite a few projects. At the moment, the homeless was one of their first projects, which they started. It was just two of the students from As-Suffa one day decided, there's people on the streets. They used to walk into town and see people on the streets. So they got a flask of tea and a packet of biscuits and went out on the streets looking for people to give them to. And that's how it started, basically. Then it turned into slowly, they would start bringing hot food and start giving it out on the streets in the city centre by the central library and that. And soon people got to know, and there used to be queues, people queuing up they knew what time they were coming every week, they'd queue up. And then the people at As-Suffa thought, let's take this a bit further. And they actually rented a unit in city centre in Lionel Street under the arches. and so it was indoors, and they would serve hot food, desserts, teas, coffee, sugars. So it was really nice. Then they started putting chairs, then tables and chairs.
It's nice for them to sit together,
It was,
like you're sitting at your dining table.
That's right.
And having a meal together.
And
It's
it's
nice.
warm. We had the heaters on and warm, and it was a nice, warm, secure sort of atmosphere. You know, we had volunteers, they had their high vises on, so people feel safe when they come there, because we ask them, why do you come here and all this? Because we feel safe, and it's not just for the food. This is, we come here to have a chat, just to sit and talk. Some of the people have been they're out on the streets all day. They haven't spoken to anyone or met anybody. They'll come here, and some people won't even have the food. They'll just come and want to come and talk. So we sort of developed. We learned from our guests what they needed, and we developed our services accordingly. Then we've started doing support work for them. So we'll have support workers and volunteers who are good. We'll just sit with our guests and just talk to them day to day, everything. We don't ask them about the situation or anything. We let them do the talking. And you find out after a few weeks, they'll get comfortable with you and they'll start opening up. And then you'll find out what they actually need, what they need help with. Do they need help with housing, with paperwork, with the immigration? Whatever they need, they'll open up with their story. And then we know how we can help them. And then we try to help them in that way. We'll signpost them, or find accommodation, find work for them, training for them. A lot of our volunteers who have businesses and that will actually employ them.
Yeah.
So it's worked out really well.
So what you're saying is not just a feeding place. This is something that's really helping people connect back to life.
To actually get them back on their feet. And
You'll find as well, David, that they're so grateful and humble.
I mean, if you come, when you come to visit the project, all you hear is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Their manners are impeccable.
Yeah.
They
On
really
the way
are.
in, they'll say thank you. On the way out, while I stand by the door, all I hear is thank you, thank you.
They don't take the service for granted. Right. Like, for those of us that are more privileged, and our children don't have please and thank yous when you give them dinner and you give them lunch or you give them pocket money or whatever. These people are humble and grateful for everything and so appreciative. It really opens your eyes. It really does.
And when you first started helping people, what was their reaction to you when you were first out there helping people?
It was just, it was always appreciative. They're very grateful. Thank you. Then a lot of people used to assume, because we had the unit, that we were all funded by the council, or we were all being paid to do this work. But when you explain to them, no, this is how we do it. It's all volunteers, all the money, the rent, the food, everything comes from our pockets, our friends and families. We all chip in every week. It's from our own pocket. We give our time. I say to them, I could be watching Chelsea beating Man United or something, but I'd rather be here helping you, making your life better, and that's when they know that, they really do appreciate it. And
when they get used to seeing your faces, we've started taking orders for sizes of clothing, what they want. Really? Next time you come, can you bring this size, and can you bring something woolly? And it's nice that they expect you to be there and they're coming back to see you. It's a nice feeling.
You become
it really is.
friends, or become friends with them.
Yeah.
It is. There's so many stories I can tell you. How you've really helped people into housing, especially getting them into housing, young couples, and the main thing is
there are a few couples that come there as well, aren't there?
We find the best thing, when somebody's made homeless, within the first 2 weeks, is to try and get them help straight away, get them into accommodation so because that's the crucial time I think they need to sort themselves out from whichever crisis they've come from. Because people become homeless for many reasons.
Sure.
It's not the stereotype. People say, they're on drugs and they drink and alcohol, and it's not that. People have relationship breakdowns. They lose their job. There can be so mental health issues. There's so many things that can happen just overnight.
We've seen some very well presented people come in that you wouldn't think that they were homeless. You wouldn't think it, because you're thinking, well, how can you be homeless when you look so clean and tidy and your clothes are fresh? And it can happen to absolutely anyone.
Yeah, anyone. I'll tell you, there's a gentleman from Solihull. One night it was really cold, raining, freezing temperatures, and he walked in. He was in a hospital gown. He walked in, and one of the volunteers, young volunteers, came to me and said, "Uncle, look, this gentleman's coming. He's got no shoes and he's soaking wet and everything." So I went up to him and looked at him. So obviously brought him in and everything quickly, tried to dry him off and everything, warm him, put him in front of the heater and everything. And asked him, what's happened? He goes, I've just come out of hospital. I've just had treatment and I've got to get back to the hospital. It closes at 8. So I've got to get back, please. Hurry up and give me food. I said, don't worry about that. I'll get you back by 8. But let's get you. So we got him changed. He had no shoes. I said, what size are you? He goes, size 11. I goes, that's my size.
No shoes for you.
Went into my car. My favourite Nike trainers, which I spent a lot of money on, my gym shoes. I just never thought. I just got them. I gave them to him. And he put them on. And we dried him up and everything, gave him a hot meal and everything. And I drove him back to his hostel, to the Salvation Army hostel from there. And he was so grateful. He was so grateful. Thank you. And he came the next day. And he says, angels. He goes, that's all I can say. Angels, you guys. He goes, I didn't know what to do, where to go last night. And somebody pointed me towards you, say that people out there, good people are feeding. And you guys, and he goes, I can't thank you enough. He goes, when I'm better and everything, I'm going to help you and this and that. So then I just sat with him and just listened to him, and he started his story. He goes, I've got Solihull. I own a car garage, 50 people working for me. About a year ago, I started having pains, and the pains got worse and worse. I was on painkillers. I was on everything. Doctors gave me everything. Nothing worked. He goes, then I started drinking the really like whiskey or whatever to kill the pain. He says, more ago, I became an alcoholic because of that. He said they didn't diagnose, and they found out that he had cancer.
Oh.
And he goes, so this is where I was in. He says, basically, because I became alcoholic, I became violent at home. I'd fight with my wife and my kids and that, and they threw me out. And this is how I ended up on the streets. I'll go to hospital with treatment, and then that night I was on the streets. I didn't know where to go. I had my treatment. Where could I go? And then I got, the hospital signposted him to the Salvation Army where he was staying. But he was hungry. He had no food, nothing. He goes, and had no shoes. This is, that's some guys, it's like the angels came down and led me to you guys. And he said, and so we looked after him for a number of weeks, and he kept in touch with him. He gave me his number, and he would contact me, and I would help him whatever he needed. So finally he started getting treatment, settled down, and they moved him to Erdington. So I used to go to him. I used to send volunteers to give him food every day. Kept in touch with him. He got back on his feet, and I actually contacted his wife. I said, look, he's in this situation. Why don't he help him? And she did. She goes, we want to help him. And that's how they got back together, and they started helping each other. And then I think he went back to Ireland. He said, I want to visit my home and everything for the last time. He has passed away, unfortunately. But he did whatever, when he kept in touch, right? He says, those trainers, I'm not going to give them back to you. He says, I'm going to put them in a glass box and put them on display. So whether he did that or not, I'm not sure. But that was just one story. There's many more stories like that I can tell you.
Yeah, so you literally became hands and feet of help in his life.
Yeah.
Amazing. So if someone wants to volunteer or they want to help, what's the best way they can help?
They can help with food, clothing, with their time, with their donations, any way they can. Prayers, with their prayers. They just saying your prayers and asking, for help. And that's all we ask for,
But we ask as well that if you're going to give clothes and donations, give something that people are able to wear, or to
give something that you'd buy your own family, your own children.
It's ready for the bin, because it's not nice to think that those people are worthy of those kind of things.
Sure.
All the food, whenever we give food, it's always something that we would have ourselves, not something that we don't want.
And it's hot meals, isn't it, Carl? And hot drinks, cold drinks, biscuits for after the fruit.
Also run a food bank as well, and the policy is, everything has to be what you would have yourself.
Yeah.
We would not give anything out of date, anything,
I think the second time I came, they all had a box of burgers and fries, and I'm like, I could eat that right now. But I didn't.
Well, the volunteers are amazing, because a lot of the volunteers, most weeks, they will pay for the whole food for that week. They will arrange fish and chips, or burger and chips, or pizza, rice, and all sorts. It's really
It's something
nice.
different every time we've been. There's something different on the menu. It's not what's the cheapest item we can buy.
We have a regular caterers. Obviously, when it's not provided, then the caterers will provide a very hot meal. It'll be like a meat or a chicken biryani. Then volunteers bring in the cakes, the donuts,
teas and
biscuits,
coffees.
coffees, everything else.
That's what my ladies like collecting. If we run out of clothing, right, let's go and get the hot chocolates and the teas and coffees and sugars, and it's always good to stock up on things. Yeah.
Because it's not just that, not just feeding people. You have to clean the place, you're running the place. So you need the cleaning supplies, the tissue rolls, the disposables, the cups, the drinks and all that, yes. So there's 2-3 of us who have that responsibility. We make sure everything's stocked, the black bags, the bags, the spoons. My scouts who are involved with me, my wife involved with in Solihull, they donated us like thousands and thousands of boxes of cutlery last year. So we're sort of living up. We haven't had to buy any cutlery for like a year. And we've still got lots of left up. A lot of organisations, charity organisations, companies will donate, especially in winter. They'll donate winter packs, sleeping bags, hats, gloves, scarves, toiletries. Toiletries we do all year round, because obviously you need them all the time. So we always try and make packs and give out toiletries. So we have lots of supplies in the back. So guests will come up to us and say, oh, I need some deodorant, or I need some soap or shampoo. So we'll just give a toothbrush, toothpaste. Then obviously, thanks to Rehability and stuff now, they're getting the regular clothing and shoes and that coming in.
We try our best.
What's the future like for As-Suffa, the outreach project? And what are the biggest challenges you're facing right now?
The future for the project, obviously, it seems to be growing, because the number of guests are growing. And the people who are actually coming to us are growing. People who've got houses, people who've got jobs are coming to us, because they either pay their rent or mortgage or buy food.
In terms of the next challenges for As-Suffa, I'm assuming you need donations as well in terms of monetary.
Yes, the only thing is the cost of everything's like restaurant doubled. Whereas like a meal would cost us like £1, 90p to £1 for a rice biryani in Russia. It's costing us £2 for a string.
You have to make twice as much money.
Yes. So the donations aren't going as far.
I think we should have a few fundraising events.
And I also hear that you've got the challenge, because you still rent the unit in Liner Street, and you need the money for that.
Yes, we do. We used to have help from the council. Sometimes they should help us with the rents and everything, but obviously they've got their own problems financially, so they've stopped doing that. So it's being funded by both why I volunteered. We'd rather use the funding for the food and the...
But it's nice that it's indoors as well, isn't it, Carl, because of the weather conditions and people standing outside.
Year round, the place is always in a nice temperature.
We probably come an hour before you open, and the queue is already outside. Right. It's already there. People are already waiting, tapping at the shutters.
People can help in with money and they can donate. Where's the best place for them to donate?
Best place to donate online, if you go to As-Suffa.org. If you go onto their website, and they'll have the section for the homeless, for the outreach project, and can donate direct there.
But I think as well, all team leaders should get involved and start collecting what they can from their staff that are willing to help, and from service users that still want to help. We can still make collections and give donations from our part as well. I think everyone, whoever hasn't been to the homeless project, I think everyone needs to go and just open their eyes and look.
A lot of the service users, their families are so grateful they've come to me, and they've actually made cash donations and want to come and get involved and help as well. They appreciate what we do.
My service, when we go to the homeless project, it costs them £45 in a taxi to go, and not once have they complained about the cost that it's costing them to go and help. They want to do it. Yeah, and when you see that on someone, you know they're doing it from the heart. Yeah.
It's very humbling to see that, you can feel, my wife goes, aren't you proud of yourself? Look how many people, you're helping, and because I get calls all the time. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, he wants to help. He wants to come this week. He wants to come this." Sometimes I have to say no because we have too many volunteers.
Yeah, we did get turned down one week and we weren't happy.
Especially when we have the youth groups or the scout groups come through. They bring about 20, 30, so we've split it into two now. I've had one this morning. So,
Amazing. And what's the one thing that you've seen and learnt by volunteering?
It's opened my heart. My heart, as a Muslim, my heart has always been open for charity, but it makes me emotional. If you haven't got a lot and you're still able to give, it's coming from your heart. Sometimes it's not about money. No. It's about time, respect, and love. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, it obviously has had a massive impact on your life in both a spiritual sense and a physical sense.
You know, I feel so privileged that I've lived a good life. To be honest with you, I've had a good life. My family, my children, they've all done well. We've had, and we just want to give back and say thank you.
We just say alhamdulillah for everything.
Thanks to God that you've given us that. We want to say thank you, paying back by helping others and helping improve their life, the quality of life, get them out of situations, and just remember, one day it could be me.
Yeah.
I can be sitting there as a guest. It can happen just like that.
Yeah.
And I can become ill, I can lose my job, I can, anything can happen.
Yeah.
I have seen people there that I've known from the past, people I've been to school with, people it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what background, you could be there.
On our last night, we stumbled across As-Suffa and the brilliant work they do. They came out on the streets with their outreach team and they found me with their high vises on. I thought they were the police and we was going to be told to move on. And it was the opposite. They asked me if I wanted a bed for the night, which was just amazing. And so, they brought me down to this wonderful unit and I was out the cold, out the rain, and I was sleeping in a nice warm bed for the night. I was working for a company called Equinity, and I want to give them a big shout out because we started an initiative that year, and I said, we've got to go back and help this team of people that helped me that one night. So we started an initiative back in 2017 to get shoeboxes together, wrap them up like presents. Everyone gets a present at Christmas, When I send Khalid a message here at As-Suffa and say, Santa's on his way, when do you want me? Although it's the ginger beard, not the white beard, you'll have to make do. But so there's a lovely range of presents to hand out to the guys. This coming year, we are going to be popping down very soon. I'm hoping in the next few weeks. I also have a charity that we founded back in 2017. When we slept out on the streets, we named that little project, I'm Homeless, Get Me Out of Here. And that's grown, and it's grown massively. And this year we've raised £10,000 through doing music events around the city and distributing that around different projects for their needs. So As-Suffa's on our hit list for 2025. So we're going to put a play out to them. I've spoken to Khalid this evening and said, if there's anything that you need down here, we're going to come down and stock you guys out. So hopefully it won't be too long before I'm back down here with sleeping bags and with, it could be underwear, it could be hats and scarves again, whatever anyone needs. We'll be down here soon.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing your stories with Khalid and Rufkia. It's been amazing to hear what you've been involved in and also to see what we've seen within your project. And we wish you all the best going forward with that project. And we'll do everything we can to get the word out and do as much as we can to help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.